Welcome explorers. Today let's explore about the Mars 2020 mission of NASA and the Perseverance Mars rover. We are also going to see the main details as well as the specific components for the rover and also see the underlying story for this Mars exploration program of NASA. So let's start. The Mars 2020 is NASA's Mars exploration program, which aims towards finding the remains of ancient life on the red planet. It also aims towards collecting and bringing back the rock as well as soil samples from the red planet back to the Earth, which can involve a relay operation of rockets and spacecrafts from different countries with the support of different countries as well as their space organizations. Now, NASA is going to achieve all this by making use the main star of the story, which is the Mars 2020 rover named Perseverance. Now, Perseverance was launched from Earth in its journey to the red planet called Mars via a rocket, Alliance Atlas V rocket. It was launched on the 30th of July at about 5:30 am Eastern Daylight Time from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Now, the Mars rover is speculated to release the red planet by the 18th February of 2021 in the next year. Now, the name Perseverance for the Mars 2020 rover came out as the winning selection of one of the 28,000 entries, which was given by the 13-year-old student from Virginia named Alexander Mather. His entry came out to be the first in the Name the Mars rover competition, which was organized in the States by NASA. In support of his naming convention, which he followed to name the Mars 2020 rover, the 13-year-old child wrote, "Curiosity, insight, spirit, opportunity." If you think about it, all of these names of past Mars rovers are qualities we possess as humans. We are always curious and seek opportunity. We have the spirit and insight to explore the moon, Mars, and beyond. But if rovers are to be the qualities of us as a race, we missed the most important thing: perseverance. We as humans evolved as creatures who could learn to adapt to any situation, no matter how harsh. We are a species of explorers and we will meet many setbacks on the way to Mars. However, we can persevere. We not as a nation, but as humans will not give up. The human race will always persevere into the future. So this was the short essay which he wrote, which was eventually selected for naming the Mars 2020 rover. Now, this Perseverance rover is also accompanied by a helicopter drone named Ingenuity. This rover has many similarities in comparison to its predecessor named the Curiosity rover, in addition to some advanced features as well as technical components which we are going to see in a short period of time later. As per the Mars space exploration program, NASA is trying to put the Perseverance rover near the ancient crater which was formed billions of years ago on the surface of Mars, and it was at that time believed to have a lake and water inside it. So basically NASA is trying to put the Perseverance Mars 2020 rover near the boundary points of the ancient crater. So this is the Perseverance rover. As you can see here, it has many scientific instruments attached to it to examine the existence of life or ancient life present on the Mars surface. And this is the Jezero crater. The Jezero crater hosts one delta, and as you all actually know, that delta is the active life supporting system of any biodiversity system. So delta is basically formed by the tributaries of rivers when it flows forcefully into some stream or lakes or any other sea water body or ocean. So this is the formation of crater, and at the multitude form the crater can host a variety of life forms, and so NASA is trying to put the Perseverance near the deltaic regions of the ancient crater. So basically that is the reason NASA is trying to do so. And the Jezero crater has many other major basins as well as major craters near it. The NASA chose Jezero crater as the landing site for the Perseverance rover because scientists believe that the area was once flooded with the water and was home to an ancient river delta. The Jezero crater tells a story of the on again off again nature of the wet past of Mars. More than 3.5 billion years ago, river channels spilled over the crater wall and created a lake. Scientists see evidence that water carried clay minerals from the surrounding area into the crater lake. Conceivably, microbial life could have lived in Jezero crater during one or more of these wet times. If so, signs of their remains might be found in lake bed or shoreline sediments. So that is the reason why NASA is trying to put Perseverance near the crater. And also, in addition to Perseverance, NASA is trying to put the Ingenuity, which is basically a helicopter drone sort of thing, and it will try to assist the Perseverance rover in trying to find new places as well as exploration from the aerial view. It will also give it the aerial view to explore the surface of the Mars and where to go. It will assist it basically where to go. And many scientific instruments were involved in the formation of the Mars 2020 Perseverance rover, and special instruments were also fitted. We are going to see one of them. We are basically going to see the 7 most important among the special instruments present on the Perseverance Mars 2020 rover. So let's see. The Mars 2020 rover basically looks like this in the blueprint form, and as you can see, there are many instruments embedded into the main system of the Mars 2020 rover. So let us see the main 7 instruments or the components for the Mars 2020 rover. So the hardware components are basically 7 important ones. The first one is the Mastcam Z, which is basically an advanced camera system which can be able to map the panoramic as well as the stereoscopic imaging capability with the ability to zoom. Because it has so high definition camera, it can determine the mineralogy of the Martian surface and assist with rover operations. And the second one is the SuperCam. SuperCam is basically also a camera sort of thing, but the instrument can provide imaging and chemical composition analysis and mineralogy at a distance. So it will not have to go close to a very interesting object which it basically wants to know more about, and it can collect information about that object from a distance also. And the third one is the Planetary instrument for X-ray lithochemistry or PIXL, which is basically using an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer technology to achieve high resolution imaging to map the fine scale elemental composition of Martian surface materials. So this is basically the component stabilization method by which it can actually find the main details as well as the minute details for any object or any rock or surface, soil or whatever thing it has actually found on the Mars surface. So the fourth important component present on the Mars 2020 Perseverance rover is the scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals, or Sherlock. It is basically a spectrometer sort of thing that can provide fine scale imaging, and it also uses ultraviolet laser to map the mineralogy and organic compounds. Sherlock will be the first UV Raman spectrometer to fly to the surface of Mars and will provide complementary measurements with other instruments in the payload. So Sherlock will provide the fine scaling details as well as the details of other components present on the surface of the Mars by using the ultraviolet scanning technique laser to map the mineralogy as well as the organic compounds. Now, the fifth important component is the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE. It is a technology dedicated to produce oxygen from the Martian atmospheric carbon dioxide. And so basically it can be very useful if in the future successfully it can be able to convert the carbon dioxide present on the atmosphere of the Martian environment into oxygen, so that the future astronauts, if they can reach the surface of the Mars, can use that oxygen. And the sixth important component is the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer, or MEDA. It is a set of sensors or transducers, you can say, some advanced set of transducers that can provide measurements of temperature, wind speed, direction, pressure, relative humidity and dust size and shape. So basically it will sense the physical or abiotic components of the Martian environment and sense and provide the details as well as information to the base center on NASA. And the last one, that is the seventh important component, is the radar imager for Mars Subsurface Experiment, or RIMFAX. It is a groundbreaking or penetrating radar that will provide centimeter scale resolution of the geologic structure of the subsurface. As you all already know that Mars has a history of layers or sediments deposited all over the surface of the red planet. So basically due to erosions as well as many other factors, the many layers can be found on the surface of the Mars. So inside the layer, as we move from one layer to the other and go deeper into the surface of the Mars, we can see many stark features present on the surface. So basically this technology or the instrument or component of the Mars 2020 rover, the radar imager for Mars Subsurface Experiment, or RIMFAX, we will be investigating the centimeter scale resolution of the geologic structure of the subsurface. So next, let us move on to the positions where these important components are actually physically located on the Mars rover. So the SuperCam, as you can see here, is located here because it will be the main camera system, high definition camera system for the rover, and it can provide a panoramic view to the entire rover and send it back to the Earth for further administration as well as scientific experiments and detailing measurement. And the Mastcam Z, as you can see here, is also located just below the SuperCam. Basically, these are the two important camera or the camera system for the rover, and the Sherlock is located here. It is basically used for taking the samples of the rocks as well as the soils by penetrating deep inside, by penetrating layer by layer inside the Martian surface. And the Pixel is the X-ray spectrometer, which can provide very detailed information about the different components as well as the surfaces or structure, geologic structure about the Martian surface. And the MEDA is the weather station. It can provide the transducing experiments or the physical information, abiotic component sensing, whatever you can say, to the Mars rover. And RIMFAX is situated here. It will basically provide the main important features which it actually provides to the surface, which it actually provides to the Mars 2020 rover, and the MOXIE will produce oxygen from the Martian CO2. And so basically after that we can come to the main important features or the sub features. The fuels are the most important ones because this can help the Mars rover to traverse from one location to the other on the Martian surface, and the aft cross beam stabilizes the rover during launch. And so these are the basically subordinate systems and complementary systems present on the rover. The main I already discussed with you. The sample caching system collects rocks cores drilled by robotic arm, and the turret I had actually told you it is basically used for drilling purpose, and the cameras, 23 cameras, most in color. So that is a very striking feature of this rover because it stands very similar to its predecessor, that is the Curiosity rover, but has 23 cameras. So camera is the main focus for this rover, it seems. So these are basically the differences between the NASA Mars 2020 and Curiosity rovers. So camera stands a very important place in the differences between the Perseverance and the Curiosity rovers. So NASA is trying very hard to provide details about the Martian surface, and this 2020 Mars project, which was launched by NASA, is expected to provide valuable information about the red planets, geology as well as the origin of ancient life, as well as it can provide some details about investigation purposes for how life originated on this planet and whether it can become habitable once again by terraforming or whatever. So let's hope for the better and let's see what happens. I'll be informing you about the further details as well as instruction updates from NASA, and I will also make interesting videos about such interesting topics. So if you like this video, then don't forget to give it a like. If you like my effort, then you can subscribe to my channel and wait for further notifications from my side. Until then, keep exploring.